Hey, Ryu, I gotta say, I'm not really a fan of Kanroji Mitsuri from Demon Slayer.
Wait, does that mean you're all about Iguro Obanai now?
How did you know? That's creepy.
Come on, anyone could tell. Anyway, since you're into Obanai, let's dive into some cool legends from Japanese history that are related to him. We will deliver the video in 2 parts, Part 1, covering his basic profile, and Part 2, focusing on the legends related to him in Japanese history. Oh, and heads up, there are spoilers, so anime-only fans, be careful.
Alright, let me introduce my beloved Obanai-kun. So, first off, he's 21 years old, 162 centimeters, about 5 feet 4 tall, and weighs 53 kilograms, about 117 pounds. His hometown is Hachijojima, Tokyo.
Yeah, he's pretty tough to deal with. He doesn't trust anyone except the pillars and Ubuyashiki Kagaya. Always throwing shade and being sarcastic, it's gotta be hard to be around him.
But deep down, he actually values teamwork and harmony. That's why he's really strict with anyone who breaks the rules.
True. He's got that distinctive look with his shoulder length, bob and heterochromatic eyes. His left eye is teal, and his right eye is yellow. Though he's practically blind in that right eye, so I guess the teal one's his natural color.
Oh, and another thing, he's famous for not being into food. He can go 3 days without eating. This all ties back to his painful past. Now, let's talk about his weapon, his Nichirin blade. It's wild, like a wavy flamberg blade but sharp like a katana. His blade was crafted by Kanamori, the son of Techen, the leader of the swordsmith village.
And check this out, the hilt's design is super detailed, with a snake and nantan, a type of plant pattern on it. The handle is wrapped in purple and white threads, and the scabbard is leather, held together by a weak magnet. So his draw technique is pretty unique.
Exactly. And his serpent breathing technique is a branch of water breathing. His fighting style is crazy flexible, like a real snake. He can bend and twist in ways normal people can't, which makes his slashes super unpredictable.
Right, even though he's the second weakest in physical strength after Kocho Shinobu. His sword skills are next level. He even pinned down Kamado Tanjiro effortlessly.
And let's not forget his sharp mind. He's got great leadership skills, analyzing situations and giving commands in battle, while still being a beast on the front lines.
Another key thing about Obanai is his trusty companion, Kaburamaru, the white snake with red eyes.
Yep, Kaburamaru is always wrapped around Obanai's shoulder, covering for his weak right eye. He's been Obanai's emotional anchor since he was a kid.
Kaburamaru's not just a pet, either, he's a vital part of Obanai's fighting style. The snake helps predict enemy movements, and their bond is unbreakable. But man, Obanai's backstory is brutal. He was the first boy born to his family in 370 years.
And the moment he was born, they locked him up in a cage. His mom, sisters, and aunt would bring him way too much food every day. But since he's a small eater, he couldn't finish it, and the leftovers just piled up.
Because of that, the cage started to stink. That's where his trauma around food comes from. He just can't bring himself to enjoy eating after that.
It gets worse. At night, he'd hear the slithering sounds of a giant snake crawling around his cage, always aware of its presence.
When he was 12 years old, he was finally taken to a fancy room and met a demon woman with the lower body of a snake, known as the serpent demon.
She was terrifying. The family lived off the wealth stolen by this serpent demon, and in exchange, they'd offer their babies as sacrifices.
Obanai, being a rare boy with heterochromatic eyes, caught the demon's special interest. He was kept alive so he could grow bigger, for when she would eventually eat him.
The demon even slit the corners of his mouth and drank his blood. That's why he always hides his face with bandages.
Despite all that, Obanai decided to escape. He used a stolen hairpin to slowly carve away at the wooden bars of his cage.
During that time, his only emotional support was the white snake Kaburamaru, who had wandered into his cage. Together, they finally managed to escape.
But the serpent demon came after him. Luckily, just in time, the former flame pillar Rengoku Shinjuro saved him, and Obanai's life was spared.
But the aftermath was just as painful. Obanai was blamed by his cousin, who screamed, "Because you escaped." They all died. 50 people were killed. You were supposed to be a sacrifice.
That scarred Obanai deeply. Since then, he's considered himself filthy and a worthless piece of trash. And that's why he joined the Demon Slayer Corps, hoping that by defeating demons, he could finally feel like he was worth something. But later on, he found out something even more shocking during an investigation.
Yes, he discovered that the cousin who blamed him was actually living lavishly off the leftover wealth. Married with kids, enjoying a happy life.
Learning about her selfishness struck Obanai with a new wave of fear. And his disgust towards women deepened.
But despite all that, the one person he fell for was Kanroji Mitsuri. Obanai was drawn to her boundless brightness and kindness.
And they even promised to get married if they were reborn, in a world without demons.
And then he gently embraces Mitsuri. It's such a touching scene, isn't it?
So, that's the basic info about Iguro Obanai.
Next time, we'll dive into some Japanese legends that connect with his story, so stay tuned.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.
See you next time.